Yesterday I was mentioning in the evening talk nimitta signs, and this term nimitta can be used in quite a refined sense to particular images or impressions that can arise in meditation, such as lights or sounds or something like nimitta. But actually it's a very common experience. Yeah. When you say something is beautiful, what's that mean? How do you know something is beautiful? Big, small, and how you define it, right? It's not 6 centimeters, 5 kilograms. No, those are abstract measures, right? Beautiful. What is beautiful? Is it a color, shape? Why is it beautiful? What does that mean? It's a very simple experience we have. What is beautiful? Something touches the heart. What is friendly? Particular gestures, manners, or something touches the heart. What is tasty? Different people find different things tasty, tastes pleasant, agreeable. Why? What does that mean? Why does salty or sour or sweet, or what are these? Can you measure them? You all experience them. Yeah. These are very obvious nimittas, signs that the heart brings up. So, for example, you see a photograph of your mother, something immediately touches the heart. You get some kind of emotional response. That's a nimitta. Right? Is it the shape of the face? No, it's to do with the memory, the emotional resonances, familiarity, the mood. It brings it all together. You go, oh, that's her, all right. Yeah. Sound of somebody's voice. Is it a nimitta? So this is actually what the heart is touched by. And this can be positive or negative, because the commercial world is very good at presenting nimittas. Yeah, you see advertisements for whiskey or something, looks absolutely wonderful. Creates an atmosphere of sophistication, elegance, ease, sophisticated, elegant, easeful. What is it? It's actually a form of poison. It damages your liver and it has a negative effect on your brain. And yet the nimitta is one of sophisticated, charming, enjoyable, ease, comfort. So the nimitta is what sells it, not the ingredients on the bottle. Put a nice gold label on it, fancy lettering, attractive bottle, you buy it. Well, I hope you don't, but people do. Big industry. Typical. Design, advertisements all present nimittas of smooth, comfortable, pleasant, enjoyable, whatever, sexy, fragrant, easeful, washing powder. Looks like the happiest experience you can have in your life is washing dishes. People merrily washing a dish, suds and looking happy. Yeah. This is kind of these are greed nimittas, delusion. These are delusion nimittas. In the Sutta it says, greed is a nimitta, hatred is a nimitta, and delusion is a nimitta. Means you get someone cast as a villain, with glaring eyes, or I don't know what villains look like these days, kind of hideous complexion, they're always ugly or fat or something. Actually, fat people are no more evil than anybody else. All the villains are kind of gross. So you could hate nimittas, and delusion. Big nimitta is delusion. delusion. Delusion means what? You take something that's absolutely not what it is. So you take something like a bottle of liquid, which is an acknowledged damaging effects on the body, called whiskey, yeah, damages the liver, it makes the brain functioning less clear. People do violent things when they're under the influence of alcohol, so it's a dangerous substance. Delusion says this is a wonderful, happy, relaxing experience. Completely, a complete deceit as to what's actually there. Delusion nimitta. But the heart, you see, the heart receives its impressions, is affected. And so therefore we need to really investigate, how do things affect me? Do they allow me to be clear, to test things? Do they just capture my attention? Do they take me to a place, when I follow that, does it take me to a place of clarity, steadiness, ease, real, true peace? Or does it take me to the next delusion? Because delusion nimittas are everywhere. Yeah. And what's behind it? This is asking me to spend money on it. Now we also have positive nimittas. So the puja presents a nimitta of the sacred, yeah, the pure, the sacred, the pure. When we chant, the intention is not to be better than anybody else, not to win anything, you don't have to pay anything, it doesn't leave you feeling groggy, no toxic effects. And it's recollecting qualities of wisdom, truth, virtue, compassion. Okay, where does it take you to? If you use it wisely, properly, it lifts the heart. And it doesn't say you've got to buy another one. A better one next time. This year's model, it's the same model. Same old model. So you think, this one is not taking me to the wrong path, is it? It's taking me back, in fact, taking me back to my own heart, not taking me out into spending money, buying something I don't need, taking me into a deluded state. It's encouraging me to be clear, steady, balanced, and reflect on purity. Reflect on it not from just an idea, but from a feeling. The beauty of nimitta and the power of it is it evokes a feeling, which begins to stir the heart. So we can be stirred by greed. We can be disturbed by aversion. We can be stirred by delusion. We can also be stirred by loving kindness. We can be stirred by wisdom, purity, trustworthiness. Things that really touch you deeply. When there's a sense of trust, safety, guidance, you can rely upon this. And also it's entirely up to you. Nobody's trying to take advantage of you. Yeah. So, that sounds like a good nimitta to follow. Yeah. And then takes us into the realm of the heart, not just the thinking mind. We come to the realm of the heart, we can experience these felt senses, these nimittas, these signs. And when we're using these in Dhamma practice, the whole point of it is not even just follow it, but to observe it, to reflect upon it. How does this affect me? Does it bring me to a place of upright mind, upright heart? Does it take me to a place of an upright heart? Does it take me to a place of, this is what wise people do. I want to belong to this group. I want to be part of the wise people. Over thousands of years have been doing this. I want to follow the Buddha, the one who never let anybody down, the reliable one, the teacher of humans, gods and humans. I want to follow that. So then it becomes a support for upright heart. We reflect upon it and we use that sign, the upright, the steady, the reliable, the non-deluded, meeting experience as it happens, clear, awakened. That sign. Then when the mind slips off, you come back again. Wait a minute. This is the track we're following. This is the footprint of the Buddha. Right. You've now got a nimitta which gives you the footprint of the Buddha. Put your foot in that. Every time you slip out, put your foot back in it again. It's easy, natural to slip out. Put your foot back there. Steady, upright. Discard the negativities or the delusions of the mind, the chattering thoughts. Reflective. Now, you've probably heard this, but as the Buddha's almost one of the statements of the reflective quality of the Buddha was his abiding in knowing. Knowing, and as I was saying yesterday, there's a difference between intellectual knowing and heart knowing. Intellectual knowing says, oh, that's that. It weighs 5 kilograms. It's made of rubber. It's 6 centimeters long. We add a load of thoughts that tell us about something. But we add a lot of thoughts that add descriptions to it, concepts. And we might add more, like, I should make something out of this. It shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. That's another set of concepts that arise. And if we're following that, a lot of meditation experience is trying to have an experience that we don't have. So I'm trying to have an experience that I haven't got yet. I want to have an experience of 4th jhana. Is this really it? I haven't got it, so I want to have it. Or we have the sense of, I'm having an experience I shouldn't have. Here I am thinking about feeling averse to my next door neighbour. I shouldn't be thinking about that. But I am thinking about it. Stop it. So we have this fighting and struggling. This is what happens when we think about things. Now the knowingness of the heart just says, oh, this is the quality of trying. Trying feels like this. And where does that take you? Stress. Trying to have something that isn't here. Now, what about really fully reflecting on what is here happening? This is agitation, like that. This is happiness, like this. So that definitely takes an effort, but it's an effort of the heart to disengage from entangling with what the mind, the body bring up. Moods, feelings. Don't entangle with them. This is knowing this is this, and it's changeable. Because the liberation of the heart is based upon the heart's ability to disengage from the phenomena that arise. Yeah. This ability is Buddha. It's the awakening potential. To disengage doesn't mean averse, doesn't mean I don't like them. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means I can contemplate. There's a feeling of agitation. Then where is that and how is that? And what does it need? What's helpful here? And sometimes it's just pure act of reflective acknowledgement. We're able to find peaceful coexistence with our physical limitations, with our states of health, with our circumstances. So noticing, reflecting, I don't feel very well today. What does that feel like? It feels kind of groggy or tense okay. And then knowing that, aware of that. Your energy, instead of going into the phenomena, the energy of the heart, instead of going into what it's aware of, the energy of the heart, instead of adding or tangling with what we experience, returns to awareness. It comes back into awareness. So instead of those experiences of dis-ease or suffering becoming stronger and stronger because we keep focusing on them and worrying about them and thinking about them and wanting to get rid of them and want to have something else, all this action puts more and more energy into these phenomena. They become big and luminous and obsessive. And there's no way out in that track. But if you notice, this is the effect, this is the nimitta of ill will. What do I do when that sign of ill will arises? I notice it. I don't buy it. It's just like you walk through, when I go through the airport, every time I go through the airport, I walk through an entire hall full of whiskey, perfumes, wristwatches, every kind of wristwatches, perfumes, whiskey. I'm sure you do the same thing. It's there and yet it's not there. Just what you have to do these days to get on a plane. You've got to go through this host of Mara. Like, you just see if you can get fascinated by it or annoyed by it or just not interested in it. Just my feet are walking on the ground. There's the you've got to go through often a tangled route because they want you to stop, so you can't get a straight line. You've got to go through this bendy route past all the Chanel and the Johnny Walker and all that kind of stuff. You just keep going. There's the way out. I think sometimes life is like walking through the, these duty-free. Life is like walking through a duty-free lobby. Don't want that. Not interested in that. That's not there. Where's the way out? Keep your feet on the ground. Just keep walking. The nimitas of greed clustering around you. You just keep not buying it, just keep walking. That's why I recommend walking meditation, because then you can really notice all these nimittas around you. Frantic traffic, people going crazy, jumping up and down. Okay, just keep walking. Things in the shops, and keep walking. Don't get caught in it. And then there's a lovely coolness, because you're not really hanging on to being separate from it all. You certainly notice it all, but you're not engaged with it. Yeah. You're not engaged with it. And it gives you a sense of a coolness and a balance and a steadiness. And you know where you are. You know your balance. You know your freedom within circumstances. Yeah. It's freedom within circumstances. And sometimes when we come to meditation, we want freedom with no circumstances. Cut out the noise, cut out the traffic, get the place completely chilled out, totally serene, exactly the temperature I like it. Everybody else in the room is totally quiet, nobody's sniffling or fidgeting, everything's perfectly on time. Body doesn't hurt. Feeling good. Then I can meditate. Well, even if it happens like that, that's going to be 1 in 100. And most of your life is not like that. So instead you learn to practice to live in the midst of the departure lounge of life. Through the duty, walking through the duty free, just thinking, something's bothering me. Something's annoying me, just it is. Not the way I want it, And some of these phenomena, of course, we take very personally. It's not other people, it's me. It's my moods, my chattering mind I don't like. It's the ones that are called me that are the biggest problems. So this is why this teaching says, do you have to call it me? Do you have to say it's yours? Why say it's yours? What does that mean? Do you create it? Can you control it? Can you put it away? No. These are just the phenomena that arise in the world of circumstance. We don't have to deny they exist, but we don't have to claim them as personal belongings. What makes them so personal? They touch the heart. The heart jumps, the heart is stirred. But then we can also get the heart touched and stirred by qualities of goodwill, reflections on the Triple Gem. So we're taking control of this area just to the extent to know that the world of circumstance that infects our minds with its stirring thoughts and demands and agitations and urgency and pressure and worry and criticism, it's just a crazy, crazy lounge you've got to walk through. I call it living in the lunatic asylum of life. Just keep walking through. There's all this stuff going on. And that's where, of course, why meditation can be somewhat physical. Because then you really sense you got something there that you can refer to that just does the walking, just does the breathing, just does the sitting. You don't need an identity to walk. Right? You don't need have a personality in order to sit. So it gives you some way of being held steady by something so you can observe the movements of the personal world from a place of some dispassion. And that, as you affirm, validate dispassion. Is the Buddha dispassionate? Yes. Is he involved with things? Does he get upset with things? No. Is the Buddha the quality of dispassion? Yes. He's also compassionate. And he's also wise. These three go together. And this is where we learn. We learn to generate, we learn to activate our own Buddha wisdom, walking through the world of our circumstances with dispassion and ease. Kammatthana. Kammatthana, kammatthana, making a foundation in this action of the heart. The action of the heart to step back, refer to what validates it, what holds it upright. From that position, that place of balance, observing, reflecting on phenomena, withdrawing energy. Now you withdraw energy by being not interested in the advertisements, not interested in the sales patter, not interested in the blathering comes over the loudspeaker, just not interested. It's not my story. Keep walking. That's how you practice. So let's take some time to look directly into our own experience, steadying yourself in your physical position and breathing. Just that regular rhythm of what happens at the end of an out-breath, what happens at the end of an in-breath. Staying steady through the flow from one end to the other. Letting the body do it. Don't get in the way, don't keep adjusting it with your mind. Let the body do it, stay with it, and take from it what it can offer you. Calming. Full body presence. And this gives you firms up your basis for wisdom and reflection. So let's take just about 15 minutes or so in sitting, and then we can go out and do some walking and continue our practice for the morning. Encourage a period of walking meditation. We'll take 45 minutes or so. And just once again to give some considered attention to this meditation, walking. Now, as we all know, normally when we walk, we're walking in order to get somewhere. And where we're getting is, we've got this idea in our mind. We need to go. I mean, there's a door. Okay, I want to get to the door, down the stairs. My mind has got that figured out. Yeah. But with walking meditation, we're switching that off. Because we're not going anywhere. Yeah. This is strange because it means we've got to put aside a habit of a lifetime, which is generally useful. But now we don't need it because there's nowhere to go. Not only don't we need it, but if you keep that way of walking in mind, even though you know there's nowhere to go, still you're up in your head, thinking, okay, walk 20 paces, turn round, and I've got to try to get some concentration going. Am I being mindful enough? You're still walking with your head. You haven't actually entered the body properly. The body doesn't have these ideas about mindfulness, concentration, and so forth, but you don't need them. Mindfulness is not an idea. Obviously, we use the word sati, mindfulness, to talk about something, but mindfulness is not an idea, it's an experience. Right? So it's the experience of just bringing your entire aware attention into the experience of walking. And one thing knows how to walk very well, and you've been doing it probably since the age of 2 or 3, which I think for most of you is quite a long while ago. So you really probably got it, the body knows how to do that perfectly well. What happens if we just, how does the body walk? And not how does it walk, how does it walk most comfortably? With no pressure and no distractions. Steady placing, movement of the legs, pressure, weight coming onto one leg, other leg feeling light, moving, waist turning, foot coming down, weight going onto that leg, other leg lifting, turning. Yeah. And as it does so, the body flexes at the waist. As it flexes at the waist, the upper body turns. It's not very far, but there's a slight turning. And so when this side is coming back, because the weight is here, down the right leg, we're turning to the left. The left leg comes up and moves forward. So just as the left leg moves forward, the left side is slightly turned back. This means that the weight is spread, you see. Now if your left side's coming forward, then you lurch. Of course all your weight's going forward. But if your top of your body is just slightly back, that means you're completely in balance. We're in balance. So that's very comfortable. And you get into that, the flow, the rhythm, and the balance of it. Look at around, we're one of the few creatures that walks on 2 legs. Most creatures can't do that. You've got 4, if you're millipede, you've got 100 or so. But you see the way they go, very snake, no legs. We're one of the few creatures that has 2 legs, and we're the best, because look at the way a chicken walks, it's buck, 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 buck. You don't want to walk like a chicken. Walk like a cat. You see the way a cat walks, very smooth, flowing, and the whole body is walking. Walk like a chicken. You don't want to do that. Too hurried. So I'll just show you what I mean. And the learning is that as you cultivate that for half an hour, 40 minutes or so, then all this mental and emotional stuff just keeps washing over you, but you just keep walking and it begins to subside because you're not catching it, you're not grabbing it, you're not fighting it, you're not identifying with it, it's just the noise. You maintain in the center, there's no noise. In the center, there's no pressure. In the center, there's no worry. It's just there. We want to keep that center. But we keep the center and we move that center along. And gradually the waves of the world open. The waves of the world open and let you through. That's what you want to do. Keep moving through and then the waves begin to die down. Yeah. Now, of course, it's unusual to be that simple. So sometimes the mind thinks, what should I do? Should I do 20 paces, 30 paces? Slow, fast? How fast should I go? Well, walk like you're happy. That's good enough. Walk like you're comfortable. Walk like you're comfortable and happy. Then you find the pace that suits you. Yeah. Remember, whole body walking. And give yourself, you can walk 5 paces and stop. Keep going and stop. Or you can walk 20 paces and stop. But stop somewhere, otherwise you're going to be in the ocean. And then turn round, come back again. So even as you keep a regular track, not getting, what's she doing? What's he doing? Just don't concern yourself. So there's a practice for you. It's a practice of relinquishment and balance. And makes you begin to understand a little bit more about the body and the usefulness of it, simplicity of it. So let's take some time for practice.